Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by the title of today's video, we are going to be giving the verdict on Fast X or Fast 10. I don't actually know which one it's supposed to be, but we're just gonna call it Fast X because I know it's supposed to be like 10 in Roman numerals, maybe? I don't actually know. I hope so. It's so embarrassing if that's wrong. But anyways, we're just gonna call it Fast X. So yeah, today we're gonna be giving the verdict on that. So this video will contain spoilers if you haven't seen it. So if you want to go see it, then come back and get the review. And if you have seen it, then you already know what happens anyway, so it's all good. But yeah, let me know if you guys want me to start doing like a little non-spoilery overview of what happens like in the film, and then like a spoilery thing where I talk about the whole movie and then give my thoughts on it. So yeah, let me know if that's something you guys want, and then I can start adding that in at like the start of the movie. Nope, that's not right. Then I can start adding it in at the start of the video. So yeah, let's get into the review, and I would grab a snack or a drink because this will probably be a long video. So editing me, I'm sorry. So basically the movie starts with a flashback to 10 years ago with, oh my god, I actually need to see if his name's Herman or Hernan. Don't actually know. Let's try what I said. Hernan Reyes. Got it. So yes, we start off with a flashback to 10 years ago with Hernan Reyes, who is the main antagonist from the 5th Fast and Furious movie, where they're in Rio de Janeiro, and he is showing his son, who is played by Jason Momoa, all the money in the vault, which you will know if you've seen the 5th film, the massive vault, which is obviously an iconic piece in the 5th movie. So basically, standing in the vault with loads of money, he is telling his son that killing Dom isn't enough, he needs to suffer. And he is saying this right after Dom has set fire to like a ton of money, can't remember how much, like loads and loads of money that he had like stashed in one of his like cash houses or like drug houses or whatever they're called. So he had to move all of his money to the vault in the police station, which is where they are right now. I think they put a grainy filter like on the clips to make it look like it was filmed in the 5th movie, because obviously we've got like higher quality film than they did in that movie. So I like the way they did that because it's actually plausible that it did happen in the 5th movie, but then I also don't like it because now anytime I'm going to watch the 5th movie, it's going to annoy me that they've like now inserted Jason Momoa into like certain scenes and cars that he obviously is not shown in the 5th movie because they literally just made this up because he wasn't actually there. But the grainy filter was a good idea because it actually looks like believable, so props to that. So then it cuts to Hernan and his son Dante, who is Jason Momoa, and I'm just gonna call him Jason Momoa for the rest of this video because I will never remember like Dante's name. I just literally see him as Jason Momoa, and I don't know why I have to say his whole name like Jason Momoa, but he's just Jason Momoa, so that's what it's gonna be for the whole film. But yes, Jason Momoa equals Dante, Hernan Reyes' son. So anyways, they are still in the police station, but we've jumped so that they are now in a meeting when everyone starts kicking off because the vault has been stolen by Dom and Brian. So from watching 5, we know that Hernan goes after Dom and Brian, and so does like the rest of the police station. We get a few clips from 5 of the car chase and going onto the bridge, them dragging the vault behind them like crashing into that bank with the vault, which by the way, hello, there could literally be like loads of innocent people in that bank, but they just crashed it anyway, but well, we'll just ignore that. So we're in the clips from 5, chasing Dom and Brian with the vault, but then what's different this time is that they made one of the evil cars that is driving beside Reyes, like on the bridge, have Jason Momoa be driving inside. So on the bridge we have Reyes and that other man, and then his son in the car next to him. And as we saw in 5, Dom yeets the vault and then it like crashes into Jason Momoa's car and then like flips over the bridge before he then squishes Hernan Reyes with the vault, which would be sore. But honestly, when I saw the trailer for the first time, I genuinely thought that they had like replaced the Hernan Reyes actor with like Jason Momoa because I couldn't remember how he died exactly, so I thought he like got hit into the river and then like it was, I don't know, I feel like I just saw Hernan Reyes' face and then it like changed to Jason Momoa's in the water. So yeah, I honestly thought that Jason Momoa was gonna be like Hernan Reyes come back from the dead, but no, he was just playing his son, so whoops. So anyways, Basically, we know the whole point of the movie is that Jason Momoa is going to be causing Dom suffering, which seems to be the main word throughout the whole film. Obviously the key theme, cause Dom suffering. A very dramatic start to the film. You know it's not gonna be good for Dom and the team. So then we cut to the scene with Dom and Lil B, which they call him in the film. This is not me calling him that. So Lil B stands for Little Brian, which is Dom's son. So they're having like a cute moment together, doing like wheel spins or something. I don't think it's drifting. There's loads of tire screeching. I don't know what they're actually doing, but they're having a cute moment anyway. Obviously it cuts to a scene of the team having a barbecue, and Dom and Mia and Jacob's mum is randomly there. I'm like, have we seen her before? I genuinely can't remember. Maybe. So while we're at the barbecue, we find out Tej, Ronan, Ramsey and Han are going to Rome for a mission for like the agency, who we are like introduced to in the 7th one, I think, with like Mr. Nobody and that other guy who I literally can't remember his name, like his little rookie man. So I'm just gonna call him the rookie because generally don't know his name. So they then go to Rome to go away on a mission. Dom, Letty and little Brian and Mia are still at home, and then we're having a cute moment tucking little B into bed when someone knocks at the door. Who could it be? Definitely not who I expected. It was Cypher. As in Cypher, who held Dom and Elena's son captive and then had her killed while he was standing in front of a glass window. So probably the last door you want to be turning up to is the person who you literally killed, his like ex-lover and the mother of his child. So woman's got some balls. So obviously the fact that she showed up at his door means something bad has happened, especially when she has come to him and she's all like bloody and she's like stumbling up to the house and there's like blood dripping everywhere. So something is up, and she's rocked up to Dom's house with her like guts hanging out or whatever. She is dying. She's not in good shape. So Dom lets her in and is obviously sitting there trying not to kill her. You can literally see he's absolutely raging, like he's like, and his like veins like popping out his face. And Letty, yes, queen, is standing there. She's got a gun. She's like, I'm gonna kill you, bitch. So they're standing there, and then Cypher begins to tell them what is coming. But basically she'd been working in her like lair, like up in a building, loads of computers everywhere, because obviously she's like tech wizard. And Jason Momoa had like come in, the elevator comes up, gates open, he walks in, dragging 2 bodies. So like he's like looking intimidating, and she's just standing there like literally like, yeah, hi, can I help you? She's not phased at all. So she's standing there, she has like loads of guys with like guns pointed at him, and he's all like being all like badass, like he looks like really evil. His hair's, is his hair slicked back there? His hair was slicked back at the start, so he was just all like this. So he like rocks up and he's like, I'm gonna take like everyone you love, or something along those lines. And she's like, well, you're looking at her. Obviously the only person she loves is herself. And he's like, I'm not talking to you. And then all of her guards get a text message, and it's their family members with like tape over their mouth. So they've obviously been like kidnapped, and he's gonna kill them if the guards don't join him. So obviously they all turn around and point the guns at her instead. I was actually very impressed by this, like didn't see that one coming, so was very impressed by Jason Momoa's character there. Shows he was actually very smart, and we do love that in an evil villain. So basically he tells her he's like after Dom, and I can't really remember what she says back. She's like, oh, you want to kill Dom? And he's like, yeah, blah blah whatever. I think basically she's like, well, I'm not gonna kill Dom or something, I don't know. But basically he says that, and then he just like leaves in the elevator with a couple of guards, and then the rest are still standing there like pointing guns at her. But she's obviously smart. She has a little device that disables like all of their guns, so they're just standing there, and she's like, boom, can't even shoot me because I'm too smart. But obviously if they don't kill her, their like families are gonna die or whatever, so they get rid of the guns. They have some knives, or like she had a knife, and then anyway she gets stabbed, and there's this huge fight scene, and then she's like fighting with this guard in an elevator. And it literally gives me the fear because like the cords on the elevator are like cut, and they just like fall like really fast to the ground, like on a roller coaster or something, and that just is not it. So that literally gave me the fear. But yeah, down elevator, she escapes, got to Dom's house. So she says to Dom, the enemy of my enemy is Jason. So that she is going to be on his side now. So they call a guy from the agency, the rookie guy who I can't remember his name. So they call the rookie, who like takes her like away to the hospital to get fixed up. She is gone. And then somehow, I can't remember, like Roman's mission in Rome comes up, and then the like rookie is like there is no mission in Rome. And Letty's like, it's a trap! And then they all head off to Rome. Then we cut to Italy and Roman and Han are in cars. Roman is obviously in a massive like gold Lamborghini because he just has to have everything like shiny, so not surprised by him at all. Can't remember what car Han was driving. Some like old person's car, I think. I don't know. So they're in a car and then Tej and Ramsay are on a balcony and Roman has a little remote control toy car with like a Tej bobblehead on it, which I was like dying at because I just love them too. They're so funny, honestly. So that was funny. But basically their mission is to steal tech from this truck. So Roman and Han like corner the truck in their cars and then Tej and Ramsay like jump off the balcony and like onto the truck, which like is below them. So they're on the truck, they like swing down either side, kick the guards out, and then like take over driving the truck. However, turns out that in the back of the truck, which they thought was tech, is instead a huge bomb. It's literally like a massive metal ball, like that massive ball out of Indiana Jones, which like rolls down the hill in the back of their truck. So that is a bit of a pickle. And then we see Jason Momoa like standing in somewhere in Italy, and he obviously has control of the truck, so he ends up locking Tej and Ramsay inside the truck with the bomb, and then he starts like remote control driving the van to the Vatican so he can blow it up. But obviously Dom, Letty and the rookie guy turn up just in time, which I like don't know how, because America to Italy I'm sure is like a long ass flight and then there's time differences, so I don't know how they got there so fast. But anyway, they turn up and there's a huge car chase, which is literally about the only one we get in this movie. So, and the other was like mediocre, but yeah. Anyways, so Jason Momoa ends up flipping the truck with Tej and Ramsay and the bomb inside it, and then the bomb like rolls out of the truck, so it's like on the street. The truck is like sliding towards this balcony, so Roman and Han have to like crash into like either side of it to like stop the truck from like falling over the edge of this balcony and obviously blowing it up with like Tej and Ramsay inside it. So they manage to stop it just before the balcony. So they succeed and get Tej and Ramsay out. Letty on the other hand has been on a motorcycle. After Jason Momoa flipped the truck, he decided to get on a motorcycle, so Letty has been like chasing him on a motorbike. He like escapes and she's like cornered by the police. So yeah, that's her. Tej, Ramsay, Ronan and Han are together. Letty's by the police. Dom starts chasing this bomb, so he's like trying to like herd off the bomb from like rolling over and like squishing people. And naturally, of course, the bomb is still rolling towards the Vatican, so he's like chasing after that. But like I'm so confused because like the police officers are trying to like kill him, but I'm like, do you not see the massive bomb like rolling through your city and decide to be like, that guy's trying to stop it, why don't we all just shoot him? Like, honestly, have some brains. I obviously guess they're like under Jason Momoa's payroll or something, but like seriously, do you want to be blown up? Like, I don't understand. So next, the bomb is like on the bridge rolling towards the Vatican. Like the bridge is here, Vatican's here, Dom is on the road. Dom manages to fly his car, hit a crane, which then turns around and knocks the bomb into the river, and then it explodes. So obviously this takes out like loads of the city, and for some reason Dom and the team are like accused of like orchestrating this terrorist attack, which is so ridiculous because like they've been accused of like so many things in the past. Like, do you not think, ooh, maybe it's not them? So yeah, the whole world is thinking they just committed this massive terrorist attack, so everyone's after them. So this whole terrorist plot thing that they've apparently done is being backed up by the agency, which obviously the rookie guy came and helped them out. So we know the agency has like been on their side since then. And then he was also in the car chase, but then somehow we never see him again for the whole movie, and he didn't die, so he just kind of like was at the start of the movie in the car chase, and then we never see him again, so I don't know what happened to him. But anyways, so yeah, the agency, who've been their buddies up until this point, we cut to a scene of the agency headquarters, which obviously used to be run by Mr. Nobody, but now it's been hijacked by this jacked up dude who's clearly fancying himself as The Rock, and I can't actually remember his name, so we're just gonna be calling him The Rock Wannabe for the rest of this review. So he is a replacement for Mr. Nobody, who has apparently gone missing. And then at the same time we get introduced to his daughter, who's played by the actress who plays Captain Marvel. Also can't remember her name, so we're gonna be calling her Captain Marvel for the rest of this review as well. So we have Rock Wannabe Captain Marvel. And she starts like arguing with him about Dom and the team, and that obviously they've like done so many missions for them, they've worked for them for ages, so she knows they've not like gone and blown up Italy. But the Rock wannabe basically tells her to like F off, and that he is not going to be becoming part of their like found family and become like a corrupt cop like Hobbs and Elena did. So that's a bit rude, but okay. So obviously he votes on like telling the world that they're like terrorists. So now the whole world is literally after them. So in terms of the team, Tej, Roman, Ramsey and Han get like on the shipping container, which smuggles them into London, which I guess was like Roman's original like escape plan for like the mission. Dom is still in Italy, literally standing on a balcony, like in the view of everyone, which seems a bit risky considering everyone's after you. So don't know why he's like standing in plain sight acting as if like he's not like the most wanted man in like the world right now. So he's standing there. Jason Statham's mum shows up. I don't know how she got to Italy so fast, but anyway, they're talking about Little B. And then we cut to a scene with Mia and Little B chilling at Dom's house, and then they are attacked by men from the agency, or like either Jason Momoa's men, I can't exactly remember. So Mia starts fighting them, and like, oh, this has been annoying me for like the past few films, is how on earth they like fight like fully trained spies. Like they literally fight like Jason Statham, like Mia, Letty, Tej, Roman, like all of them somehow have went from like punching like normal street fighting stuff, like obviously, to like flipping people's overs, breaking their necks, like fighting literally like Jason Statham, which makes sense for him because his character was obviously a spy. But then I'm like, sure, they got some like agency trainer or something, but like seriously, they're all fighting like they're all like professional like assassins or something, which I feel like is so unrealistic. So yeah, they really like cut down on this like flipping people over and stuff, because like I don't know where you would have learned that. But anyways, Mia's fighting them, and then Jacob, who is Mia and Dom's brother, who randomly popped up in the 9th film, who we've literally never heard of ever because he clearly didn't exist, and they just needed like a new plot. So yeah, he pops up and comes to take Lil B to safety while Mia goes and looks for Dom, I think. I can't actually remember what happened to her. Where does she go? I don't know. Did we see her for the rest of the film? No idea. But anyways, Jacob has Lil B and they are away to safety. Next, we cut to a scene with Dom, who is now in Rio de Janeiro. He's chilling in a bar and he's found by Captain Marvel, who stole God's Eye, which is from like the 7th movie. It's like this like facial recognition thing where you can like find anyone in the world. So when she was arguing with that like rock wannabe guy, she stole that. So she managed to find Dom at this bar in Rio de Janeiro. They're having a little chat and Captain Marvel is telling Dom that Letty has been like locked away in some like black site by the agency and is like impossible to get to. And basically all he says is just like, get Letty out. And she's like, no, it's impossible. And he's like, no. And then after this, I can't remember which way all of the events come in, because there's like loads of like jumping around different countries, so it's honestly so confusing. So yeah, they might be out of order, so sorry if they are, but yeah. So as Dom is instructed, Captain Marvel lady went to the black site where Letty is being held, and she says that she's like disabled the microphones, but the cameras are still on, and she's like telling Letty like, yo, I'm on your side. She even like pulls out Dom's necklace like this. She's like holding in her hand to like show her, and obviously Letty's like, well, you literally could have got that like off his dead body. So, and then obviously Dom, knowing Letty so well, is clearly like, she ain't gonna believe that. So he also told Captain Marvel the story about how Letty like got one of her scars. So obviously then she starts like believing her, because I think Dom is the only one that knows that. And then she's like, this is the only way to get you out, and makes like Letty get her into like a chokehold. So then Captain Marvel like turns around and like stabs her in the arm and then like leaves. So at the time I didn't understand that bit, but then it makes sense later. So yeah, so the rock wannabe was obviously watching on the cameras, but he obviously couldn't hear the audio, so he like zoomed in and saw like Dom's necklace, and obviously that Captain Marvel was on Dom's side. So he decided to backtrace her like flight path, which leads to Rio de Janeiro, where obviously Dom is. So that was a pretty smart move on his part, to be fair. Next we cut to a car scene where they're obviously trying to make it as like the typical Fast and Furious car scene with the women and the cars. Everyone's like dancing, blah blah blah, but there's some like aerial shots, and oh my god, it literally looks so staged. Like the cars were so spaced out, like oh my gosh, it literally looked like a set. Like it was not like the typical car scene you would usually see, like, it looks so fake, it was unreal. And other people I've spoken to, like, have said the same thing, like, oh my gosh, that was the worst car scene, like, ever. So we're at the awful, like, car street race place, and Dom's racer friend, who was like in number 5, he like held a gun up against Hobbs when he was after Dom, so we know they're buddies, so I recognized him. And then there's some like other random girl who's like there, who we've literally never seen in our lives, but Dom apparently knows, so yeah, she's just kind of there. Okay, then Jason Momoa turns up. He's got his hair in like space sponge, which, I mean, he does them better than me, I am jealous. So he turns up, and like his character has done like a whole change. Like, from up until this point, we've seen him be like serious, and then now maybe they're like showing his like mental deterioration or something. I have no idea. He's like so eccentric, it's like completely different character. I was like so thrown, like it was really weird. So I preferred his character before. I do not like the way they like made his character now. So he challenges Dom to a race and says that if he loses, he will turn himself in, and that if Dom loses, well, he just better not. And then we get into the scene which had me literally so raging. Dom, Jason Momoa, the guy from number 5, and the random girl we've never seen before start racing. Dom obviously senses something is up while he's driving, and Jason Momoa has like attached bombs to the underneath of the random girl's car and number 5's car. So Dom obviously has to choose which one he's gonna save, and obviously he would save his friend from number 5, who we've literally seen in previous films. He's helped him out, he's always sticking up for Dom. So he's in a green car, he's like overtaking them all. Literally like, hurry the fuck up, Dom, and like help your friend out, like come on. But big fat nope, he literally saves the random girl who is beside him instead of his friend who he's known for ages. Like, I just was like, are you kidding me? It was so raging. So anyways, he like rams into the girl to get like the bomb off the underside of her car, and he like ends up flipping her over. So I mean, he could have also ended up killing her by doing that, but anyways. So yeah, at this point in the movie, I was so annoyed. It literally made no sense why he would save this like random girl we've never seen before. But anyways, so I think the next scene is Jason Momoa chilling on a chair with these like 2 dead guys who have like sellotape all over the face. So they're literally like, so while he's chilling with them, he somehow like accesses all of the team's like bank accounts and like takes all their money. So now they don't have any money, which is quite funny because obviously they stole all the money from his dad, and now he's just like wiped out their whole account. So after this, we cut to Tej, Roman, Ramsey, and Han in London, who obviously have nothing on them, no supplies or anything, so they go and try to get some money, and obviously Jason Momoa's just like wiped out their bank accounts, so they're like, oh my gosh, we don't have any money. And Tej discovers that the money has actually been sent to mercenaries to hunt them down. And then Roman, who's obviously like money obsessed, is like uncharacteristically quiet, and Tej was like, what is up with you? And he like flips open his jacket dramatically, and what do we see? Unfortunately, not a 6-pack, but he is like strapped to the max with like loads of dollars of cash, which is like really weird, but I mean, good thing he does since they now have no money. So obviously they need like black market stuff, like some guns and things. And Ramsey is obviously English, so she knows some place they can go, so they end up going to this like old-fashioned like computer store or something. And there's like the cashier guy who's played by Pete Davidson, who like I had no idea who he was at the time, but like I recognized him, you know what I mean? So I had to Google who on earth he was when I came home. So yeah, he's in it. And we have some usual Tej and Roman banter. It was quite funny. And then for some reason, like 5 minutes later, they start like punching each other, but like seriously like fighting. And obviously they always have like a little rivalry spat, like bromance thing going on. But now they start like punching each other and they're like seriously fighting. But then like Ramsey and Han are literally standing there like enjoying it. Han is like eating this muffin, which turns out to be like filled with like hallucinogenic. So he starts being like, woo, squiggly. And then after the fight breaks up, Ronan's like, take this money, but like he's giving him dollars. I'm like, this is the UK.
What?
And Pete Davidson is obviously knowing that they're wanted, so he obviously sells them out. So they obviously have to escape. They get out of there and Han is like, I know somewhere we can go, but it's the last place I want to go. So that's intriguing. Again, I'm not sure what order the scenes go in, but we haven't mentioned Letty for a while, so we're gonna just jump to her scene. So since she was stabbed by like Captain Marvel in the shoulder, she like wakes up like tied to a bed with like tubes and like fluids in her, kind of like a hospital-y vibe. So she's like down here and there's a whole like observatory of like people cutting about up the top. And when she turns her head to the side, there's someone in the other bed. And who could it be? Cypher again. So Cypher being Cypher, obviously hate what she did to Elena and keeping like Lil B hostage and all this stuff. Like, ew. Hate her for that, but you do have to respect her smartness, and like she's like somewhat like likable in this movie, which is like kind of annoying, but oops. So she of course had a plan to like override the like controls on the side of her bed, which like subverts like sleeping stuff or something into like the observatory, which knocks out all the people there. So it's just Letty and Cypher. So they head to the observatory and get to like the security door, which like requires like 2 hands to like pull down these like levers. Cypher is obviously the one with the plan, and Captain Marvel like clearly meant them to like work together. But Letty, who I love, is obviously an idiot in this moment, and instead of escaping first, decides to punch Cypher in the face instead of escaping the like black site. So they start having a huge like fight scene, which is literally like the 50th fight scene we've had already in this movie. It's like insane. So once she kicks her ass, Letty goes back up to the observatory. She like climbs up this like air duct thing, like a chimney, I have no idea. Climbs up that, gets to like this like manhole cover thing, twists the handle, pops open the door, and when she looks out, there is snow everywhere. And guess where she is? Antarctica, in a vest top. So yeah, she like heads back down, obviously. And then next, I think we cut to Dom, who is at the random girl's house who he saved over his friend at number 5, which honestly I'm still raging about. But now we see why he saved her instead of his friend, because who does the random girl have a picture of? Elena. And why is this? Because she is her sister, who we have never heard of ever. And the introduction of her character in this movie is literally pointless. Like, you really think Elena wouldn't have mentioned that she has just like street racer sister? I don't think so. Anyways, she is like some of Elena's case files on like Hernan Reyes and Jason Momoa. And then through these we find out that Jason Momoa still owns the police station from the 5th movie. So obviously Dom goes to the police station by himself. He gets inside, there's like screens everywhere, like it's dark, like pictures of like his family on there, and Jason Momoa speaks to him on like an intercom and is all like, you're gonna suffer by like losing your family and all of this stuff. Once he stops his creepy speech, like all the agency people like come in and like arrest Dom, which includes the like rock wannabe man. They put him in the back of a truck. The truck gets flipped on the same bridge that Dom and Brian had the vault, and then Dom ended up killing Jason Momoa's dad on. So while the truck is flipping, like Dom puts out his feet against the rock wannabe guy so he doesn't go like flying about the truck. So yeah, the truck's in shambles. There's like a big shootout on the bridge. The rock wannabe guy is standing there, sees Dom, gives him his gun, so now I guess they're like pals or something. Captain Marvel shows up and she like joins in like shooting people, and it's at this point that Jason Momoa shows up. And who's he have? Oh yes, random Elena's sister, who I don't know her name and I don't care. Captain Marvel is like standing on his car, so he like shoots her, and then he shoots like the rock wannabe who I thought died but apparently had body armor on. And then like Jason Momoa like leaves the bridge. Dom has Elena's sister, so we're all good. So Elena's sister takes Captain Marvel away to the hospital, and then the rock wannabe guy gets up and he's like, Dom, you're totally right, that guy's a psycho, I'll give you whatever you want. So now they're apparently like BFFs. So I'm not sure where this next scene comes in, but anyways, Jacob and Little B get on a plane. Jacob has like this massive kayak thing, which obviously goes into the hold. They then get down to the hold once they're like in mid-air, and turns out the kayak is like this little like hand, not like a glider, but like an airplane basically. So they get in that and like whew, fly away out the bottom of the plane, which I'm like, can you open the bottom of a plane mid-flight? I'm sure that would like soak in loads of air and like be bad. So yeah, they end up like near the sea. It's some like underground cave thing that like Jacob had when he was like a spy, and there's like a car in there that's like covered up. So cute little moment where Jacob and Little B like have a little bonding moment over this like weird like massive car, which I might be a Charger, I'm not actually sure. Now let's cut back to Han. If you remember, he said that he knew somewhere they could go, but that it was the last place he wanted to go. So I was out here thinking it was gonna be like Giselle's like family or something, and he like didn't want to see them after she died, so I thought it was gonna be something like that, but no. So they all go outside this like storage unit, and Han's like, I need to go in alone. And then we see this guy like punching this like punching bag, and who is it? Jason Statham. Thank gosh, because probably honestly the best part of the movie was seeing him. Love him. So him and Han get into this fight because Jason thinks that like Han is here for revenge after like Jason blew him up, which like, I'm sorry, but in number 9, where they were explaining how Han like didn't die in that car is because they used some like holographic Han through like technology or whatever instead, is literally the most ridiculous thing like I've ever heard. So they stopped fighting because agents like crash in the door. So Jason and Hans like work together and they like fight the agents. Ramsay, Tej and Ronan have like some like fight with their agents outside as well. But anyways, they all like get back together and Jason takes them all to like his base where he's like, I am not helping you, like no, go away. And then, perfect timing, we get an alert that like everyone who has ever helped Dom or his team is gonna die, and guess whose face is on there? Queenie, which is Jason Statham's mom. So as soon as he sees his mom, he is literally packing like 50 guns. So yeah, once he sees that, he's obviously like on their team. He's like, guys, you can have whatever you want, like I'll sort you out with cars and a plane and all of this stuff. So then he leaves and we don't see him again for the rest of the movie, which like so sad. So after that we cut back to Jacob and Little B still in the same cave, but then this time an emergency alert goes off and there are like loads of like armed people like coming after them. So they get into like the car with all of like the barricades and like whole like weapon system thing attached to it, and they like zoom outside. They are like in this desert place, and on the side of the car are like these levers, oh my gosh, I don't know how to say that word. They're like these levers that you pull inside the car, which like sends missiles like towards people, I guess. And like this moment like didn't sit well with me. I didn't really think it went with the vibe of the Fast and Furious films. So they're obviously like driving and there's like loads of evil people behind them, and Jacob lets like Little B pull the like lever which sends a missile at all the people chasing them and blows them up. He thinks it's great, but he's literally like 9 years old and he's just like blown up a bunch of people. Like, I know they're after you, but like seriously, letting a 9-year-old child like blow people up, I don't know about that. And then they get onto like this main road, which is like dual carriageway this way, dual carriageway this way. Jason Momoa has now joined the car chase. He's there. He's obviously after Little B. So we're having like little car chase on the road here. Then we see Dom on a plane with the Rock wannabe guy, and they're like above Jacob and Jason and all these people. Dom's obviously like, you need to land, and the Rock wannabe is like, well, there's obviously nowhere to land. And Dom's like, well, that's fine, just like drop me off right here. So then we cut to this big ass plane like flying over Lil B and Jacob and all that, and then Dom like reverses out the back of the plane midair and like lands on the road. So then Jacob and Dom are like somehow talking on walkie-talkies, which I don't know where that came from, but anyway, Jacob's like, it's fine bro, I got Little B, we're all good. So they head into this tunnel with Dom in the front, Jason and Little B behind, and then Jason Momoa was chasing them from the back. At this point, the bomb contraption like that's on the side of Jacob's car somehow got stuck, so he thinks it's a great idea to let Little B go out on the side of the car and like try and fix like the bomb thing. Like, why would you even let your nephew anywhere near like bombs? So like, oh my gosh, so stupid. So obviously Jason Momoa creeps up beside him and just like pulls him through the window, because obviously that was gonna happen. So Jacob lets Dom know that he's like lost his son, which like, oh my gosh, could you imagine telling him that? And then something happens where like Dom is like chucked onto like the other side of the road, and his car gets like stabbed by 2 helicopters. Like in the doors, they like shoot out like weapons or whatever that like stick in the doors. So he's like trying to drive along and he's got 2 helicopters like attached to him. He just like floors it, and I'm pretty sure it like drags them together and like blows them up or something. But that is not the end of his problems, because driving towards him is like, oh my gosh, I don't even know, like 50 cars or something, like a massive convoy. So he is like trapped. So Jacob sees this, he is on the other side of the road. He gives Dom a like sad speech about like wishing he could be a better brother and all of this stuff, and then launches his car straight into the convoy. So he dies. And obviously Little B was watching this, and it happened right in front of Dom, so like that was sad. Now Dom's saved, we have like another little chase with like Jason Momoa, and like Jason and Dom are like talking through walkie-talkies, and like at the start of the movie when Dom and Little B were doing those like wheel spins, Dom is like said something to him which you know is going to be like important for like later in the film. It's about like having faith or like trusting yourself or something. So Dom obviously says this to Lil B, and then somehow they get into like wheel spin. So Little B like jumps from Jason Momoa's car into Dom's car. And then at this point, I can't remember exactly what happens, but I think Jason's car like went down over some like rocks or something. So Dom is obviously getting instructions from the Rock wannabe in his ear, like the landing strip's this way. So they're like driving on the road. Then they get to this like single bridge. It's over like Hoover Dam, I think. I don't know if it's Hoover Dam, but it's a dam anyway. So they're on this like single track like road, a way to go through this tunnel, when like a lorry appears like out of the tunnel and just like sits there. And then another one comes from behind, and Jason Momoa is not dead because he appears up at the top of the dam. And who is working with him? The Rock wannabe. Honestly, I didn't see this coming, which I'm very surprised at because like it's so obvious. Then we cut to flashbacks of, you know, the start of the film where I mentioned that they were like in a meeting where they got told like the vault had been stolen. Who was in this meeting? The Rock wannabe. So, plot twist. So we're still at the dam. Then we see the plane that Tej and Roman and Han and Ramsey are on like come around the corner, and either the Rock wannabe or Momoa like says something and then like blows out the plane so it goes flying overhead and like crashing into the sides of the mountain. Obviously they are not dead, but anyways, RIP for the moment. So yeah, after that the lorries like start converging on Dom and Lil B. We obviously know what's gonna happen. As the lorries getting closer, he like floors it and like flies them over the side of the dam. So as they go over, there's like a massive explosion, and then they're being chased by like fire as they literally drive. I don't even know if it's possible to drive down something this steep, but anyways, they are literally driving down something like this steep. There's fire behind them, like smashes the windows. It's literally like this slow motion shot of it being inside the car, and almost has them when Dom turns on the NOS, which like didn't make any sense to me at the time because I was literally thinking like, wouldn't you like blow up? But afterwards I googled it because it was really annoying me, and it turns out that NOS is non-flammable, so he actually wouldn't have blown up. But I didn't know that while I was watching it, and it like totally took me out of the film because I was like, oh my gosh, he would literally just blow up. So that was kind of annoying. So that happens, they obviously zoom away and then like fly into the water. So thankfully they both get out of the car, they get onto this rock, and then we think they're safe, but Jason has rigged the dam to explode, so all of the water that is being held up by the dam is a way to crash down onto Dom and Lil B. So we leave Dom and Lil B there, and that is the last we see them for the rest of the film. And instead we cut back to Letty, who obviously dropped back in to the black site, and Cypher is waiting at the bottom with like snowsuits. So they both head out into the snow, and then boom, a submarine like breaks out of the ice. And who is standing at the helm? I bet you won't guess because I was literally, shoot, it was Giselle. And that's the end of the movie. Bye. No, just kidding. So yes, that is the whole plot and everything that happened that I can remember anyway from Fast 10. So now is time to get into my thoughts on the movie. So in terms of my thoughts on the movie, I think the initial like opening scene was like well done, or like how they linked it back to the fifth movie. Actually, you could believe that it happened, like, you know what I mean? I did enjoy that bit, but also I didn't at the same time, like I mentioned before, because it's just like, oh, you're gonna be thinking, oh, Jason Momoa was in that car there, oh, Jason Momoa was in that scene there, like when you're watching it the next time. So that's gonna be annoying for sure. So yeah, alongside that, I also did enjoy the scene with Cypher and Jason Momoa because, ooh, there's just something about like a little enemy standoff thing when they're both like clever. So I did enjoy that. And then I also really enjoyed the car chase scene in Italy because it was like the whole team like working together like as usual. So I did really enjoy that scene. And that's also when Jason Momoa's character was still like consistent at the start. So did enjoy that. And then from that point, like the team was split up like the whole film, and there was loads of like country jumping like every 5 seconds, which was like kind of annoying. So yeah, I feel like it did go downhill from there. Also, we were obviously introduced to Captain Marvel and the Rock Wannabe's characters, and yeah, her character's cool, but like she also wasn't really in the movie that much, so I'm not really sure what they were trying to do with her there, like maybe just to have like another big name like in the film. So yeah, I'm not too sure. And with the Rock Wannabe, I was like, really because they already had Hobbs, who was obviously like built because it's The Rock, and you literally just felt like this character was like another like carbon copy of Hobbs, especially when we think he is on Dom's side after the bridge. It's like, oh my gosh, really, we've literally jacked up dude who's a like cop or whatever becoming friends with Dom and helping out, blah blah blah. Oh my goodness. So I was like, seriously, not again. So I did appreciate the plot twist where he turned out to be evil. Appreciate that. I do think that was well done, although I'm so annoyed I didn't guess it because it was so obvious, because literally anywhere the agency knew that Dom was, Jason Momoa like randomly showed up there, so makes sense. But honestly, like those two and Elena's sister who just randomly shows up, like we just really didn't need their characters, to be honest. Like I really don't know why they introduced like Elena having a sister for like Dom to save over his like friend who's been in it for so long. And if it was just to get like Elena's files, then I'm sure they literally could have gotten them like anywhere else. So yeah, the actress like of course did a good job, but like her character was just so pointless. It was, yeah, don't know. Again, I mentioned the jumping around of everyone's POVs was like really annoying, because also when it did like change, it would literally just be like fight scene, fight scene, fight scene, another fight scene, another fight scene. Oh my gosh, there was too much like fighting and like nothing else going on. Like it was just like fight, 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 boom, that's it. So yeah, I didn't really enjoy like Tej, Roman, Ramsey and Han's scene, just because like there was nothing really going on in any of their scenes. Although saying that, I did enjoy Letty's scenes with Cypher. Like I thought they were so well done. Like I know we hate her character for what she did in 8 obviously, but then she was also in 9 and now she's in this, and I don't know, it kind of just makes you not hate her as much. So I kind of like her character now, which is like really annoying. And also having the black site in Antarctica, like seriously, Antarctica. So yeah, and in terms of like the climax, like at the end, I thought the scenes between Jacob and Little B like bonding were very cute, minus the part where Little B is literally blowing people up and killing them. So yeah, having their relationship like built up during the movie like definitely made it sadder when he died, and then like Little B's face, oh, so sad. And then we get Tej and Roman and all that being blown up on the plane, which I guess was supposed to be like devastating, but it was pretty pointless because obviously everyone knows that they're not dead. They're not going to kill off like 4 of the main characters, one of whom has already been killed and then come back to life. So they're obviously not going to kill him again. Like, no. And apparently no one who they kill off in the film that's actually part of the team ever stays dead. Like Han's alive, Giselle's alive, Letty is alive. Like, oh my goodness. So yeah, it kind of like takes away from the stakes if you're thinking, oh my gosh, they actually died and like it's emotional, but no, you just know they're gonna come back like the next movie or something. So yeah. And now obviously we have to talk about at the end with Letty and Cypher and then Giselle popping up on a submarine in Antarctica. Like, what? So like, yeah, I was shook and the moment had the desired effect, but like, as I said, really? She was literally blown up. So I genuinely have no idea how she's alive. I'm like, does Han know she's alive? So yeah, don't know about that one, but we'll see where it goes. I totally thought this was the last movie, but apparently not. And also Dom was being like so sentimental and like meaningful at the start of the film. Like, you know, when someone starts a movie off like that and you're like, you're gonna die. So yeah, that better not happen in Fast 11, because I'm telling you, like, I will not be the only one like kicking off about that. So yeah, they better just leave him alone. Thank you. Okay. So overall, I enjoyed parts of the movie. Like I thought the actors were amazing as always, like they did their job well, but it was just the writing that brought it down for me, particularly in how they ended up portraying Jason Momoa's character. Like I've said, I feel like they've like forgotten what like Fast and Furious is supposed to be about at its like core and how it's supposed to make people feel, and like that was just like missing from this movie. So yeah, I think they really need to get back to like the original like core of the film for the last film. So the last film better be better than this one. Yeah, honestly, I think the fans could do a better job of writing the last film than the writers can. So, but yeah, that's just my opinion. So on that note, it's time we get to the verdict. I honestly don't know how to rate this film because obviously I love the other movies and I don't want to like rate it low, and obviously the actors are amazing, but obviously I have to rate this film as a standalone by itself and try not to think about the other films, so we're gonna do that. So yeah, the usual actors playing their usual roles were like amazing as always, so that is what gives the movie points with me. But honestly, the plot and the writing just let the movie down so badly that I think the verdict is going to be a 5.5 out of 10. Oh, I hate rating people's work low because of like the time and the effort that's went into like making it, which I always respect, but there was a lot of improvement in that story, 100%. So yeah, that is the verdict on Fast X/10. I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and let me know your thoughts on the film in the comments if you've seen it. And also like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. And I will see you guys for the next one. Bye!